Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Yoruus speaking, and welcome to Beyond Earth. Now, I was hoping to start off with a decent free-for-all game that I recorded. Well, I did record a lot of games this weekend, when the game actually released, but none of those games was really, good in my opinion. First of all, technical issues. Secondly, huge unbalance of the game. Huge unbalance of the actual, how they say, those, well, let's say them civs. And basically people a little bit disappointed with the game. I myself, well, you ask me what do I think about the game in whispers. I'm not impressed. Especially with the multiplayer aspect. Let's be honest. Firaxis, you screwed us so bad with multiplayer again. Not only that, I haven't confirmed that yet, but this week they released a patch for Civ 5, and suddenly people say to me, I haven't played multiplayer myself, but suddenly people say, you can't really play multiplayer in Civ 5 again because the game crashes on reloads. And it's very hard to get a game going and finish a game if somebody actually drops or have some technical issues. Firaxis, why would you force us to do this? Let us choose which game we want to play and how we want to play it. There's a lot of people who want to play multiplayer games of civilizations. We really enjoy those. Let us play and have fun. Please. Please, don't screw us. Please. But let's get back to the topic. So there has been, of course, a lot of people trying to figure out a lot of strategies. And one of the most OP civs right now for the early game is Slavic Federation. Now you're asking why? Why Slavic Federation is such an OP civ? Well, let me think. Free technology from launching a satellite. Now, maybe it doesn't sound that crucial, but we're gonna get back to that trait a little bit later on. First of all, if you haven't played Beyond Earth yet, let me explain a little bit about the units. So basically you've got some basic units like Marines. At physics you get Rangers, so-called range Marine, Ranger. There's something called an artillery, which is a missile rover at computing. And there's something called combat rover at strength 12. And there's of course somewhere around in here gunboat and TAC jet. Yeah, TAC jet, a plane. All of those have very, well, if you look at them they're okay, warrior stats, 10 combat strength, that's not high. Now all of those units upgrade with affinity levels to following stuff. Marine, so that's +4 strength. Brawler, affinity 6, 10 strength, 10 extra strength, so that brings a Marine to 24 combat strength. Marauder, level 11, so 10 plus 24, that's 34 combat strength. Affinity level 11. Then we've got Centurion, not Centurion, that's actually it, Apostle. Basically that's it, 24. So a Marine can be upgraded to 24 combat strength. Of course they got some sort of perks, so let's say 30% when in miasma and attacking 30, that's cool, 30% combat strength, so that brings you to around 43-ish, something like that, 43 combat strength where you're in miasma. That's not hugely that bad. Plus 40% when not next to any friendly unit. Okay, so that's around 70% if you're single on a brawler. That's not bad, if of course this perk actually stays on with the upgrades. But then we've got Gunners, a range unit that upgrades at affinity level 2 to a gunner and has range strength of 6. So that's what, 16 16 if I remember correctly. No, it's 14 combat strength, okay? So that's 14 combat strength. That's not really that much, and then the another upgrade is at affinity 7. Same goes with all the other building, the units basically like combat rover upgrades at level 3 of affinity with a merely +6 strength for overall of 18 combat strength. Missile rover at level 4 to whooping 20 range combat strength. Gunboat tac jet is like so horrible. I don't want to even talk about a tac jet because it's just so horrible. It's beyond amazing. At level 6, whooping +6 range strength. Okay, so those are the units basically that we have in here. The basic units that you would like to rely on if you want to attack somebody, defend somebody, and so on. So now there's a catch. If you played Beyond Earth, you already know that. But if you haven't, there are so-called affinities, which you can relate to, let's say, ideology and Civ 5 Beyond Earth. Now, those affinities are gained by quests, technologies, ruins, and all the other cool stuff. All of that is random except technologies, okay? So, for example, you can get a crash satellite quest. And now for purity, if you want to go purity, there's several options for that quest. Supposedly 2. And first of all, that satellite can land on turn 2 or on turn 40. You have no influence on that when that satellite will actually land for you. Secondly, you can get chain quests that are actually inaccessible to you. Like you can get a quest to let's start off with a simple quest, okay? So the simple quest is, what do you do with the satellite? You can do something and something, and then you can extract xenomass from it, and boom, you've got affinity 1. Purity 1, which is awesome, so you only get to get your explorer to the crash site, you do the stuff the explorers do, you extract the xenomass, and boom, Purity 1. Purity 1 is amazingly strong for explorers because aliens do not attack it, which is bloody awesome. And helps you out with other quests. For example, if you want to kill 2 alien nests, then you can run around with 2 explorers with millions of aliens around them and just wait for them to leave the nest and snatch it. So there's a huge unbalance on that part. But anyways, about the quest system, let's not focus on that. Now let's get back to the affinity from text. So there are affinity is experience based. So when you research text, you get affinity in here, affinity experience level. For example, here is 12, here is 25, and here is 25. So okay, cool, affinity. But what does that give me exactly? Well, that gives you access to affinity unique units. So I mentioned those basic units, combat strength 10, 12, and so on and so forth. Now, if you unlock affinity 4, and you got access to a proper technology, which is theoretically far away in the tech tree, you can build unique units. And now the first unique unit with affinity, as we mentioned, Marines get 24 combat strength, gunners get 18 range combat strength, at the same time being a 10 combat strength, so not that much. So for purity, the first unit is Battlesuit. Battlesuit strength 40. Not only that, it's strength 40, which is almost double of a Marine at the same time of the affinity, and 4 times the melee combat strength of a gunner, which means Battlesuit is boom, one shot gunners. It costs less than a Marine. Where's the logic in that? So if you go to Purity 4 and you happily unlock this technology fast enough, which can happen quite fast even if you're not Slavic Federation, but that we're gonna get to it soon, you get a huge combat strength unit that's super crazy strong. Of course, other affinities also have those units, but are a little bit harder to access. Basically, we've got a unit in here for purity, which is level 4 in harmony, and it's 34 combat strength, so a little bit weaker, but also cheaper in production, only 80 hammers. And around in here in the tech tree, there's C&R somewhere. I have never looked for it. There's C&R, a tactical robotics, combat strength for 38. Now the problem with those two units, the first problem is this unit requires Firaxis, which theoretically is on the way because robotics are in here. You can get a Firaxis mine that gives you an access to Firaxis, and you can build Ciendars. Now, same happens in here. You have access to Xenomass and you can build Xenoswarm. No problems in here. But Purity, on the other side, needs only Titanium. Now, if you play multiplayer games with strategic balance, you have a guaranteed Titanium in your capital. At least 5 of those, which makes a Purity approach the most viable choice for access to very strong units early on. There's another catch, of course. As I mentioned earlier on, there's a lot of quests in this game, affinity related, and not only affinity related. There's also building quests. Every building you will build gives you an access to a quest. Of course, it's not like you build building, you get a quest. Of course, they're randomly generated, so you don't know exactly when you will get a quest from a particular building. For example, you can build a shrine on turn 5, or a shrine or earth relic on turn 4 or 5, and you can get the quest for that building like on turn 50. You have no influence on that. So why Purity Rush is strong? First of all, if you really want to get there and you are lucky with affinity, you go to Bionics, which costs tremendous amounts of science, because at the turn, like in the early game, you gain like 25-30 science tops, which means researching Bionics takes around 20 turns, and researching physics gets you, so that's 25 turns and you go right away there. But you still want to research texts like pioneering or any other text that you actually need. If you don't get titanium, that, how it's called, that upgrade actually that I've got, total game tectonic scanner. If you do not get tectonic scanners, you gotta go to engineering theoretically to reveal titanium. That's another 63. So let's say if you're playing a different civ, you need around 53, 63. That's 116. 116, 179, 179, and let's round this up to 700 science. So that's around 30 turns, 40 turns, 50 turns at best, because first you start off with like 3 signs, so getting pioneering takes like 10 or 15 turns to research. So if you actually reach the tech level you want to get, it takes tremendous amounts of time to actually try to rush. And on top of that, it's not like you get in there and you still have it, because you gotta be lucky on affinity. So let's say you get 2 affinity from researching this tech, you get 1 affinity for, let's say, the virtues tree of might, but you still miss 1, so you gotta finish some sort of a quest, which you of course cannot finish, because you can get like a purity quest to build let's say a gene garden in a city. Okay, so the gene garden is in here on the other side of the tech tree, or you want a biofuel plant in a city that has no access to the ocean. Those quests happen as well. Or maybe build excuse me, build a petrochemical plant in a city which has no access to oil. Those quests happens. Firaxis, come on, shape up, god damn it. So those quests happen. Now, the idea of Slavic Federation, why it's so much unbalanced, it's the unique trait. Now, unique trait for Slavic Federation, let me show this to you up, is if you haven't played this, they are called sponsors. And Slavic Federation, now, they've got a free technology when the first satellite is launched, okay? So that's a free tech. So basically what that gives you, if you're lucky, and you find a pod with a solar collector, that can happen, you have instantly access to a free technology of your choosing. So what can you do with this? Answer is quite simple. You go physics, you research physics, you launch the satellite, you get free techs of bionics, you build an institute. And the quest for institute, guess what? It's a free tech. So you get an institute and you wait for the quest, of course, to happen, and you get a free technology to serve a machinery, and boom, you have theoretically access to the technology you need. The only thing that holds you up right now is access to affinity. You already have affinity 2. So you can either hard tech something like genetic mapping to get another stuff, and you can go like in virtues to integrated arms, not integrated arms, martial meditations, get 1 free affinity level, and you're there. And you can build units. And this is all what this video is about. This video is about ways to go into battlesuits as fast as possible. Now there are two approaches. The one linked in here is a luck-based approach. Well, what does it mean, luck-based? Everything in this game is luck-based, because the luck depends on quests, from ruins, satellites, buildings. It's all dependent on luck. But let's say a luck base, which means I'm trying to get a satellite from a pod, I'm trying to get affinities from the spaces I want, and I want to kill somebody as fast as possible. Of course versus AI, but the point is there. Now the second approach is in here somewhere. Of course, this is in this video, and the links are below, as usual, to the exact timestamps of this. The second approach is, let's say, unlocked version, which means I don't pick any pots. I don't get any ruins. I only build up stuff. So there are two approaches, which vary a little bit with the end result, but both are very quick and sets you up very well for the late game. Now this is not a new topic. This has been, people talked about it a lot. It's even on the Civ Fanatics forum, a thread for that. The link should be in the description below. You can check it out as well. But I just want to say this: if you want to play multiplayer games, and I'm gonna do that from now on, do not let people pick Slavic Federation. This is just a horrible pick. It outbalances game so much, and I don't think in this timestamp of the game there's any way to stop a Slavic Federation player, because he can focus on this strategy every single game, on every single map. If he's not going to be attacked by marines and gunners early on, he's gonna crush you. Unless you're going to be super excitingly lucky with some science ruin, with some affinity quest and stuff like that. And usually in a strategy game, at least from my point of perspective, you can't have such a huge luck factor in a multiplayer game. It's just not fun. If it's pure luck, basically pure luck. And on top of that, something I really don't like, they added the damn energy to rivers. This is so horrible. We've been there in Civ 5 multiplayer, and you removed the gold from river tiles there. It was done on purpose, okay? Because that didn't work well, and it was a very good decision that you have removed that gold from there. It's still quite easy to get a lot of gold from that. In here, why did you add gold to river tiles? It's so unreasonable and makes games even more unbalanced, because if you're not starting on a river and you're going up against a player that starts on the river, you are in a huge disadvantage. But enough about that. This video is about this strategy, so I invite you to watch two approaches: the luck approach and the less lucky approach, somewhere in here. Have a nice watch. Best wishes. Yoruus out. Okay, let's go to the lucky version. Of course, the standards are setting the most important thing, that is, let's say, makes this tactic a reliable tactic, is of course strategic balance. Strategic balance allows you to have titanium in your capital right away, and the picks are quite obvious. Slavic Federation, that's the civ you want to have when you try to do this strategy. Artists, tectonic scanner to actually see the titanium and improve the titanium is really important, and a worker, so you don't have to waste hammers from building a worker, and actually you can get up to speed with everything you want. Now, there's one thing about the landing: you don't have too much choices about the landing. Basically, you cannot get retrograde thrusters, so your point of view is quite small. But the most problematic part is you kinda have to settle in the middle of the ring you have to choose. Now you're probably asking why. The reason is quite simple: you don't want to step on your titanium. Most of the time it's just in the first ring, so basically you have no choice. You want to settle in here. Now this is a pretty neat starting location, because it has food and it's also grassland. Grassland start are super exciting good. This makes your population boost up like crazy, which is super cool. There's 4 turns to get to titanium, and I definitely want to do it, so I will start improving this tile first. And we've got our first pot, which is bloody great, because we are counting on being lucky. As I said, this is the lucky version of this strategy, so you want to have everything as fast as possible. But since we want to help our luck just a tiny little bit, we're going to start off with an explorer. So please continue, Mr. Explorer. Paddock, 1 turn, go. Now this should grow in 2 turns, so I got 1 more turn of build time in here before I go to the titanium. You're asking why do I want to go in the 2nd turn? Well, the reason is quite simple. Alright, so we've got a quest. Now this is culture. This is not something we really want to get, but it's not a problem. We go might and we keep on exploring. Let's try to find more pods. Now I'm in a quite secluded location, as it seems. So first of all, there's not too much space, let's say, behind me that I can get a pod. Actually I forgot to move this guy. Hopefully it will not crash the game. Perfect. It actually moved after the turn, which is terribly bad. I don't want it to happen because I want to work the titanium as fast as possible to speed up the first buildings that I can get. Now we've got a quest update. Hopefully a research pioneering. I am on that, no problems. We continue with the affinity tree. That's of course also quite obvious, and we continue. Alright, more food. Titanium is not yet upgraded, which is quite terrible. Old Earth Relic is needed to speed up the acquisition of virtues. We actually need the virtues as quickly as possible to make things faster. Don't want to base our luck on finding pods, because we want to find in a pod a solar collector, which seems to be a hard challenge right now, especially as like explorers running around in a very unpleasant way. Yeah, probably will not find the pod we are looking for, which makes me a little bit sad, but that's why this is called a lucky version. There is something cool though around in here. First of all, we got the titanium. Let's go south. Maybe nobody went south. And there is a Proteus ruin, which is quite awesome. That makes our luck even more viable, which I very like. Now, still I do want to grow though to population 5 at least, so there's no rush with building the buildings I want. Since I still want to grow, makes this 7th turn to build, no problems. What I really want is a pod with a solar collector. And continue. Quest decision. First develop a virtue, which is public security, and we of course continue down the tree for level 1 affinity and more affinity points from research text. That's the most important part. We go physics, of course, then genetics, into genetic mapping. There could be a possibility. Oh, and this is one more lucky part. We're getting a quest right now which helps our culture quite a lot, which is super important. Miasma, no problems. Next turn. This is a great lucky side. Not exactly the side we are looking for, but this makes things actually go even more faster, and most importantly, I can run around with aliens quite fast. I do not have to care about aliens whatsoever. Of course, upgrade is absolutely useless because I don't have any units right now. It's actually bad. Well, Puri 1 has good sides and bad sides. Now there is the pod I was really hoping to get. Now let's hope it's going to be a lucky pod and that aliens actually will not step on it, but aliens did step on it. I will have to wait a little bit, so I do want to heal while I'll be trying to get that pod. And there's another pod, so you have again 2 chances to be lucky, which is quite awesome. Trade depot 3 turns. That actually will make things much faster. Because I will not be able to get a settler. Of course, this alien stepped on the wrong side, but this spot is available for the taking. And let's see, are we lucky? Yes, we are. So we've got a solar collector on turn 17, which is bloody amazing. So we're going to fortify in here, no problems. We're going to fortify in here, no problems. And now I'm going to click on next turn, because I do want to crank out a settler, and I of course don't want to launch the solar collector yet. Yeah, I don't want to have this. Let's go. 20 affinity points from research tech. There's still 2 things that I really need to get going. That's a colonist, 8 turns. There's not much I can do with that thing. You cannot really skip a colonist. Let's be quite clear with this. If you want to do that, you have discovered physics, 80 science, 25 culture. Okay, 25 culture, almost lucky. Let's continue with the scouting. Maybe we'll get something more out of this. Oh, I would love to step in here, though I will have to get the other explorer in here. Now, I would really love to find some hammers to crank out the settler faster, but as I said in the beginning, this is a lag-based game. Let's be honest, this is a RNG lag-based game. I only had 1 quest, and I've got 3 buildings. So I only upgraded this building. There's still two buildings that I need to upgrade, which is basically lag based. Thankfully I've got another quest. Nah, this is a horrible quest. That doesn't matter. I don't care which station's gonna land and where it's gonna land. I want to settle in here as fast as possible. Though to make that happen, I need to get a settler. Now, affinity. There we go. And of course we level 2. In purity. Now the slight issue in here is that possibly this will not be enough, though 30 plus 20% should be enough to hit level 4 quite quickly. Defending from range attacks, there we go. More generators. Can we move this boy? Yeah, let's move this boy. Maybe we can find a satellite in here that will help out with the hammers that I will need. Or a pod. The pod will be snatched. I should have moved a little bit quicker. Now, there is a slight issue in here that I can actually launch the satellite right now. I don't actually have to wait. Launch into orbit on the tiles that I'm actually working right now. That boosts up my gold a little bit. Since I don't have a river, I want to boost up the gold. Now choose the research, obviously bionics. And the Q is, this will actually slow us down a little bit, but I kind of need those 2 things. I need a colonist and I need a trade convoy. And here we go. We continue. Of course he snatched the pod. What a douche. Who are you? Brazil. Where's Brazil? That's Brazil? Yeah, that's Brazil. So I think I know my first target right now. But maybe he left out some sort of a satellite or a ruin that I can actually snatch. Oh, quest. Found one outpost. Okay, that's actually not the quest I want. It's horribly not the quest I want, but no matter. No problem. Oh, and I'm building a wrong thing. I don't want to trade convoy. I want to trade vessel. There we go. Perfect. And then I want to have Institute. Now, this is a slight problem. Institute takes so much time to build. That's the first thing that's going to slow you down. Institute is a very, very expensive thing to get, though we've got a satellite in here, so that is a chance to get some extra hammers that will speed up the things. Settler go. Rock and roll. Let's dig out the stuff. Let's chop the forest here. Okay, and the next stop is obviously an institute. We've got the extra soldier, marine, not too much helpful but always useful, and institute 15 turns. That's not really much that I can do to speed this up. That's the downside of this approach. Institute's gonna take 15 turns to get in here, and there's two more highly random things that you are still going to get. The first random thing is the quest for buildings. I still have two buildings that I did not have the quests, but perfectly enough, I just got a sweet 80 hammer boost that cuts down my institute to 6 turns, which is bloody great. I've got a quest decision, eradicate its purity. It's not really that great, but that means I gotta bring up 2 nests. Yes, I need to destroy 2 nests. That's actually doable because I'm already purity 2, which makes my... well, we see? There is a high chance that I will be able to get this nest without a problem. And actually I don't care about this one. Let's try to find a nest. Develop a virtue. Next stop is possibly production. I've just chopped the forest. As I said, there's still several problems though, and the most hugest problem right now that I do have around the spots is the fact that I didn't get the quests for Trade Depot and Clinic. Now that's a huge deal. You need those quests. I'm actually tempted to sell the clinic because I don't really care about that clinic that much, so it makes the things a little bit faster and more viable. Hopefully you're gonna get the quest for Trade Depot, something I did not get yet, which is just plain old terrible. Alien nest, woohoo, where are you? I want to find you. And now choose production. So I do have an institute. I would be tempted to kill Trade Depot, but I don't really want to do that. Now gunners cost tons of stuff. I do have another guy who I could trade off with, so I will go this time with a trade vessel. That should speed things up. There's not really too much stuff that I can build on. This is definitely an RNG thingy. Now what we are counting on is basically the time in turns that we can get our stuff rolling in. Maybe I should even get a settler or something like that in the meantime. Not a big deal. Let's go Uzbek. No food. What a surprise from this trade route, since there's not too much food in my capital. And we go on with stuff. First things first, that's a worker. There's a station in here for Barca that I could trade with. Connection established. That helps out a little bit with the gold. Since I don't have stuff to build really, I'm gonna go for a colonist. I could go for units, but that's not really that helpful right now, since I do want to attack somebody. I'm still waiting for 2 quests. Now, this is the RNG problem. This is turn 32, but we've got... Perfect. So we are quite lucky. 3 turns after building an institute, which is on turn 42, we've got a quest for free technology, which is quite fast. Of course, you could get it quite faster. Well, you got free technology. We go with the free technology, and we go to servo machinery. And welcome, Purity 4, without not too much trouble. And we can go on with production of battlesuits. Of course, they will take some time to build. What a surprise. What a surprise, huh? 10 turns, 6 turns, so it's not really that big of a deal, but still, this is basically turn 42 ability to build 40 combat strength units, which is highly good. Now, the only thing that I do want to have in here, just for the sake of comparison, is actually how fast I can get to 3 battlesuits, because basically the 3 battlesuits will allow me to put any capital that I choose to destroy. So let's go. I want 3 battlesuits. 3 battlesuits, maybe 4 battlesuits. And let's see how fast with this approach I can actually kill somebody. This is a purely rush strategy. It's not really like super viable for the long run. I don't believe it is. Oh, I forgot about the nest, by the way. I need to pay closer attention on this guy. Okay, where are you going? Gold is fine. We could fix our happiness. This is another cool thing about this approach. You've got access to Bioel. Not only you got access to Bioel, you currently have an access to Institute, which is not that great of a science building, because you actually need to put people in it. And with a capital of population 6, you cannot really do that quite effectively as you would like to. Which is not a surprise, but still, the purpose of this is to attack somebody with battlesuits as fast as possible and as hard as possible. So you've got 1 battlesuit incoming already, like 2 more battlesuits in here, and hopefully like 2 more battlesuits in here. I am even tempted to go in there and kill that capital with just 2 battlesuits, because it will gonna take like a couple of turns more in here to actually get there. In the meantime, you can research whatever you want. I mean, like, whatever you really want. The downside of a rush like this is you are on 2 cities. You rely highly on the quest yields, on quest rewards, and stuff like that. But look at that. Somebody's trying to get in here with some units. Combat rovers. Woohoo. Do you really want to try to snatch me? I hope you're not, because that's gonna end bad for you, sir. Of course, you could probably take me with those 3 cities only. No problems. Let's start preemptive war. Why the heck not? Boom! 1 shot. Boom! 1 shot. What a surprise. Let's save the worker though. There's no reason not to save him. And develop next virtue is of course maintenance cost. There we go. Affinity almost done. Healing almost done. Slowly getting in there. The yield from the trade route should increase now, and should probably give me a little bit of food, right? Yeah, we're finally getting a little bit of food, which is good. It's finally helping me out just a tiny little bit. Not super great, but just a tiny little bit. Let's purchase a good tile. There we go. And time to kill some units. Oh, perfect. A combat rover that I can actually kill. Boom! 1 shot. Oh my goodness, this is just plain old hilarious. That unit is so OP compared to the units that actually other people have. Basically, I'm purity 5 and they are all like 1. So not a big issue around this place. I'm just gonna race straight to their capital with the units I have right now. I don't really see an option to defend against this. Like 3 Battlesuits is just so amazingly strong. It's really hard to do anything to stop this from slaughtering you. So I don't think we're even gonna try. Will they attack me? Nope, but they are trying to slow me down. No problems, I don't have the time for that to happen. Let's go. More Battlesuits on the way. Fortify. Let's get in range. Fortify. More Battlesuits incoming. This guy's gonna get killed next turn by somebody else. No problems. Okay, we're actually starting to grow right now. I could theoretically work on the Institute. So I've got 3 Battlesuits. As I said, this is of course not improved yet, but not a big deal. Let's go step in here, pillage, heal up a little bit. This guy could not step in here because that's a hill. Quite unpleasant. Let's go. Oh, somebody just tried to kill me. Wow. Okay. Village. More incoming troops. The only downside is miasma, but not a big deal. More Battlesuits on the way. Veterans again, heal up, boom. Oh, why I couldn't kill this? Because that's marsh. Alright. That was not intentional. Yeah, it was not intentional. My bad. I can finally start building maybe some useful units. Oh, I've just got more titanium. Yay! More Battlesuits. Okay, let's just get on with the rush. No problem. 2 city rush. Sounds viable. Do we have more heals? No. Well, let's step into this city. Like we want to kill it. And more. Oh, a rover. Why would you want to destroy me, dude? You don't want to kill me. We're peaceful. We're so peaceful around this place. Go away. Okay, let's go with another biowell. They actually lose somebody? No, I actually did not lose anything. Alright, boom. Oh, one shot. Oh my goodness. Okay, capital. First capital got in on turn 60. Alright. So let's sum this up. We end up with 2 cities. Of course, only 13 science, but I theoretically got an institute. And I could theoretically put people in it. The downside is 2 people. Well, 2 city. 2 city. Science, well, this is AI, so it's not really like a big issue, but already have double my science. This guy's got double my science. Then we go to Tiangjong. He's got double my science. This guy has the triple my science almost, but that doesn't matter because I already got 1 capital down. And I can just stream those units and possibly get a kill with another capital and another capital. There's like 3 capitals in here, and that will definitely boost up my defenses and will allow me to catch up later in the game. I will have the space that I want. So basically, this is a rush technique. Yes, that's true, but it's damn effective. The only downside is so dependable on luck factor. So theoretically, turn 60, luck-based tactic. And we have our first capital. So let's get on now with a strategy that is actually not based on luck. Let's see how that will actually perform compared to this luck-based rush. So here we are in the not luck-based version of this approach. The settings are basically the same. The only thing that I put away is resource spots, since this is the way of no luck, and I don't want to step on those just by a pure luck. I don't want to step on those. So again, I lied a little bit though. This is not luck-based version. Hell yeah, it's a luck-based version. You want to know why? Well, the basic answer is quite simple. You're relying on a quest building for Institute. Not only that, you're quite reliant on the quest from a Darren Monument. Well, Monument is not called a monument. But you're relying on those two quests, not mentioning other buildings that you would like to get, like trade posts, that you actually want to get. So it's a huge reliance on a lot of stuff again. You can't really influence. So basically can't call it like it's a not luck based version. Every single game in Beyon Earth right now is luck based in a very high degree, but still. So you've got plains. I don't have too much spots. I would love to settle on the grassland. Well, theoretically no, because this is a coast. So not really, but I don't want to miss my titanium. This time we are tremendously lucky with the titanium. There's 2 titanium in my capital. This is like a dream come true for a strategy like this. Not only that, we've got a 3 food in here. Well, actually I shouldn't have worked this time because it gives a paddock, which is bloody ridiculously bad. I should have went for something else. Okay, let's start off with thing that we need the most. It's the old earth relic, because this is the thing that will help us tremendously. Now the tech path is quite simple. We go pioneering into ecology, into physics, into genetics, into genetic mapping, and the rest I don't care because it really doesn't matter. Let's go like here. We should reach our timeline quite effectively with this approach. So my scout is not really looking for any ruins of any sort, is looking for a city spots. Now this land is not really that great, especially I want to have only 1 explorer. It's not really that great, but I already see a second city spot in here. You're asking why not anywhere else to catch more land. Well, I don't need more land. Basically, this is how this game works. You don't really need land whatsoever. What you need is just more cities. And I can fit a city in here, and then I could possibly fit a city somewhere around in here for another coastal city, though it is ice blocked. Well, that's a little bit unfortunate, but also doesn't influence me that much. Trade routes are still bloody great in any way, shape or form. Now this plains titanium is something so ridiculously strong. I cannot even express how much this style is good for any approach or any game. Okay, we've got quest update, research pioneering. I am working on that. Hopefully we can time our free settler perfectly with finishing pioneering, so I can actually get a colonist in the right time. Hopefully I did not mess this up tremendously. So the next stop is of course clinic to boost up our science just a tiny little bit and trigger those damn quest buildings that are just so random. It's beyond madness how random those quests are. Oh, and another nice city spot. There's not really too much people because I didn't put down stagger thingies. Well, that really does not matter since there's like no ruins, so I don't really care. We've got our satellite. I could theoretically explore it because theoretically that will happen eventually in our games. No, I will not do it. I will not do it on purpose. I don't care about any luck factors. I will try to do as little of those as possible. So homesteading is our next step. and 5 turns, which fits perfectly into our approach. It's really awesome and really great. 2 turns to get to another titanium. I actually like that. No, I don't need that. I want pop 5 city, so I will improve it a little bit later on. First, I want to have a 3 food tile. And I do have a lot of space to explode. To expand, there's no alienness around, which fits again quite nicely into my strategy. The next stop is we can try to get a worker. Now this normally would fit perfectly into the trade post. Just this one great titanium mine makes this so faster. It's purely amazing. Getting another worker before the trade post is just great. So I got a quest that's 1 colonist. This is perfect. Pioneering in 1 turn. We get a free settler, so we're gonna finish up this quest. I just need to fit my cities perfectly. Now I like a city in here. And then 1, 2, 3 tiles. I want a city somewhere around in here on the river. So I'm gonna go there first. There's no reason not to go there first. Unless there's miasma blocking my way. But there's marsh, so the trade route could go here, here. No, that's miasma, and that's miasma. Okay. And that's miasma in here. So actually sitting here is not the best choice. I will prefer to settle the city in here, so I can actually get my first trade route to that spot quite fast. Another worker. We're growing. No, we're not. And why the heck we are not growing? I do want to buy it. No, hell no, I don't want to buy it. I'm gonna have huge gold problems. But next stop is of course a trade depot. What? There was a timer? And I put a timer on. Oh my goodness, Yoruus. Why do you want to put a timer when you're playing with an AI? Oh, hello there, alien nest. What's up? So there's 2 turns in here. I still want to have food. Okay. So add to queue. There's no trade depot yet. But we can chop the forest in the meantime. I got 2 workers. That speeds up things tremendously again. I very enjoy this approach again. Fortify. Go. And plant the city. Perfect. Quest done. But let's go and explore for another city spot. Maybe there's some titanium somewhere around in here as well. So, trade convoy. Fortify in here. There's still 3 players that have not landed. What a surprise. But already there's an explorer in here. I don't want to repeat this again. It would be highly unpleasant. So I do want to prepare 2 trade routes then. No problems. But as I said, this is theoretically unluck based approach, but it's still luck based approach because it's like tremendously luck based game. You cannot really get away from this. There's like no options to get away from this. This will be a luck based game. No other option. That's just the way it is. There's no question about it. Okay, next virtues of course is might. Since we want to get in here as fast as possible. Basically this is the only thing that could, well, there's 2 things that slow down this tactic and are purely luck based. First thing is of course the building quests, which we didn't get any yet, and we've got 3 buildings. Okay, we've got 3 buildings and we didn't get a quest yet, which is just plainly terrible. This is just plainly terrible, and I do want to have the gold. I theoretically want to have the gold, but I would like to improve the food much more because it's gonna speed up. Well, it's gonna speed up. It basically is gonna get my trade routes into a little bit of food increase because it's dependent on the difference between yields, something I haven't figured out yet that well. But Mr. Singh, according to Mr. Singh, that works exactly like that. Go. And go, go, go. Still no quests. No quests for buildings. Not happy with that at all. And still no quest for buildings. Get away. How can we play a game? Oh, excuse me. How can we play a game, a strategy game, that is so highly dependent on quests and some strange random generator? It's just so unwise. Okay, Uzbek. Nice hammers, only +1 food. Not a big deal, but that's just the way it goes. So, next stop, Old Earth Relic. I'm even hoping to like destroy the clinic if this is not going to work well. What is this? Ah, this is Tundra and this is Tundra. Okay. Shouldn't have went there then. Oh. Okay, we've got our 3 cities up and running, theoretically. So the next stop I want is of course Miasmic Repulsor. That gives me to 2 turns. But there are still quests for buildings that I cannot really achieve. And that's detrimental to my strategy, basically. That's basically all that is to this strategy. That's quest. Building quests, that's it. And there's no building quests happening right now, which is tremendously sad. Okay, let's remove the miasma from here so I can actually trade with all of my cities without any problems. That gives me the plant-free tag for the Institute. Perfect. And now, of course, it's time to get the actual Institute up and running, which is 10 turns, which is quite fast. Oh, it's quite fast Institute. And pretty nice third city. So I've got, come on, how it's called? I've got the, no, Ruin, not Ruin, the Old Earth Relic, as it's called there. And final quest decision. Oh, Trade Depot quest. Okay, more hammers, go. More hammers, go. Why did I move this to the rocks? Oh, we have our first prey. An AI 3 tiles from me, seriously? And do I have another quest? Yes, perfect. Okay, so I've got my building quests done. This is actually the very lucky part of this game right now, that I've got those quests done. This is gonna actually help me out tremendously, because I can fix my cities right now exactly as I want. The only problem is gold right now, and I don't have the gold. We'll need to do something about that. Maybe I could slow down the income in my capital. I probably will have to do it and fix my gold a little bit. That's the problem if you do not start on the river. You have huge gold problems. Of course, the cities are not connected yet, but well, that doesn't matter that much. We are still going for the tech we want and for the tactics we want right now. So another city spawned. Then we've got another trade route to Serik. It can finally fix itself perfectly. Hopefully a generator in next turn is gonna speed up these things just a little bit. Help out with the gold. There we go. And next stop is 3 turns. No, not yet. Let's get a worker in the meantime. I gotta fix my gold issues tremendously. Yeah, quest updated. Research computing. No, I don't want to research computing just yet, sir. But I want to get more gold. More gold is important. But mentioning trade routes. Yeah, losing science. What a surprise. What a surprise. Can't do much to stop that. Sorry. Oh. Losing energy. don't say. We are losing energy. Okay, let's get one ranger in the meantime to build up some sort of troops. There's grassland miasma, and we go, of course, for a generator. Yeah. Destroy the crashed satellite because we need energy. Okay, so I've got my institute on turn 38. Now the only thing we are missing right now is culture for affinity and the quest. Basically, that's it. So what could I do now? I could get more cities. I could start building rangers, but I already have colonists queued up in here, so I could probably add another colonist in my capital before I will start pumping out units. That's probably a wise choice. I don't have enough rangers though. I could have gotten them, but I don't have them, which is a slight issue, but there's nothing I can do about that to stop it. And I still need to fix my gold problems, which makes me tremendously sad, especially I need to get my road going. So I currently have a lot of cool buildings that I really wanted, but just it's not fitting that well because I'm not on the river. What a surprise there. I'm not on the river. That turns out to be tremendously unlucky when it comes to darn quests. I could actually start making a road in here. Go. Yeah, fortified Mr. Ranger. 4 pop, really. There we go. Quest updated. Choose a station. So again, this is not the quest I am looking for. And Kaguan just took my city spot. Actually, they took away 2 city spots from me. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, those bloody stations are just so darn ridiculous. Let's take care of that station. Maybe let's take care of this station first, so I can plant a city on actual river this time. But this actually fits perfectly that I did not get the free quest yet, because now I've got more affinity points from actually researching the technologies, which is quite nice for my idea about this game. Not mentioning I could use a couple of more rangers. But first let's take off these quests, because they are getting on my nerves tremendously. More roads. And more roads. Losing energy. Yes, I know. Go away. Yes, I know. Go away. Grassland Xenomass. And a little bit of miasma in here. Go. This guy goes here first. And trade convoy goes to Sarik. That finally helps me out a little bit. And Sarik, well, ranger wouldn't hurt. And Sarik wants a trade depot, so he can actually trade with those next 2 cities. It's turn 44, which is not that bad when it comes to like stuff like that, but still, I'm not too happy with this. Why cannot I attack? There we go. Boom. And boom. Road is done. Now let's get the road to this side. And settler goes here to the position of the new station. Shoot. And heal up in the meantime. So you can settle there. Do I get the trade route done? Not yet. And I'm starting to lose tons of gold, which is unpleasant, but well, meh. Who cares? I still don't have the free tag from the building, and I should be connecting the road soon, so that's not really a big issue as well around this place. Especially I can get more generators. Let's go. Losing energy. Well, 5G. Okay, city connected. That's good. Ah, there's another guy in here. Wow, 1, 2, 3. Ugh. You guys are driving a hard bargain. Okay, so this is the spot I'm gonna settle a city for. And of course, more ranger before I finally get the darn tech in here. Ugh. Convoy. Yeah, Uzbek, go, grow, please. Dude, grow. Almost there with the technology, and still 8 turns for the free affinity. So theoretically, I have still 8 turns for the damn RNG to give me my quest, my building quest. I still have that time theoretically. I will have also the time to actually update all of my buildings as I wanted to and get my 5 city running. There's the quest, there's the quest decision. Finally, we've got my quest decision. So focus on specific advancement. That's give me a free technology, and here we are, servo machinery. Still 7 turns to genetic mappings though, and still 7 turns to free virtue. So still a little bit time more to go compared to the 2 city rush. But definitely the outcome of this approach is this guy's just gonna die. Okay, don't do it, dude. Okay, if I would upgrade it, he would kill him, no problem. But definitely pros of this approach is the mere fact that you get so much more stuff done, and you actually have an empire that can work well with things. Basically, I still want to have those trade convoys up and running here. Actually, let's start off with a trade convoy. There we go. Perfect stuff. Fortify. Go. Losing energy. What a surprise! I know that I'm losing energy. Go away. Hey, and plan my next city, which means you go to change origin to Seric. Yes, I could get another trade convoy, not really, because I want 1, 2 and 1, 2, so I want 1, 2 for this guy, and 1 more trade convoy in here to get things done. And first I want to move my troops to the other side so I can get rid of the darn station in there, which gets on my nerves so much right now. Could I get like a unit or something? Actually I wouldn't mind a worker. Veterans again, that's sweet. Don't care about it that much though. Okay, what are you working at right now, sir? Probably something highly unpleasant. Yeah, probably something highly unpleasant. Okay, I need more roads. And I probably need more generators. There we go. Let's start off with the generators. Try to fix my gold since I'm not on the river. Damn you. Heal. Where's my explorer? Trade convoy Uzbek. Well, first Tanimir, sir. Yes. This guy goes there. And what about, well, wait a second. This guy is not trading, and it should be trading 1, 1. Yeah, we need what? A trade convoy. Actually, 2 trade convoys. Come on. Set this up to trade convoys. There we go. Veterans gained. No problems there. Where's my explorer? Yeah, give me back my explorer. 3 turns. Quest updated? What? What? Road? Just give me that road, sir. And more workers. Okay, in 4 turns I got another city. Okay. So I delayed this a little bit too much right now. A worm quest. Okay. Hello, wormy, oh boy. What you doing in here? Let's get us our stuff sorted out, sir. Z. More. Yes, affinity progress. Hello. Still can't make this happen. This one probably is gonna be a pain in the butt to get rid of. Same as that darn station in there. Still losing a little bit of gold as well in here, which is a little bit unpleasant. Alright, you go to Serik. First, Stanimir. You've got one trade route still available. Hey, 0 gold. Hello there. Finally sorted out. Forest. Shoot. Getting there slowly. Okay, fortify. Give me a plantation. Heal up. Explorers goes there because I need to kill the station. Oh. That's actually hard earned. That's a hard earned explorer, so well, station ruined, so I do want to have those. That seems fair. I don't see a reason not to do it. No, I have a bad feeling about this. Hopefully this guy is not gonna die. Still don't have my fifth city up. Yeah, it was kind of obvious that's gonna happen. That was a huge mistake, trying to be greedy in here. Hopefully next turn this guy is going to die. Free affinity, there we go. So theoretically right now we're ready to build up my units. So last trade convoy in here is done. That goes for 2 battlesuits. This trade convoy is also done, so this goes for 2 battlesuits in here as well. Serik is also done. This goes for a battlesuit in 1 turn. Well, in 1 turn, it's not really 1 turn. It's really a big issue. And this guy can be fortified. Don't even think about snatching my trade route, you darn worm. Of course he snatched my trade route. What a surprise. Die! Die! What I get? I don't know what I get, and I don't really care. Let's go. Serik. Okay. No problem. City is almost ready to go. And the next stop, of course, is a bunch of generators. Serik, go. And my battlesuits. Where are my battlesuits? Yes, my asthma boys. Go. Okay, food is done in here. So the next stop is, of course, something useful. Let's say we go here. Do I actually can make a petroleum? Yes, I can. So I have a slight gold issues. Boost up the combat strength. There we go. Start shooting on this guy. Shoot. Okay, right click. Come on, fight. Thank you. Trade convoy goes to Stanimir. Well, that's a highly depressing trade route. Very highly depressing trade route. Hopefully it will fix itself up. And of course a trade depot. Stanimir, go. So how's our trade depots? 2, 1. This guy should get another trade route. Trade vessel, trade convoy. Switch to Serik. Yes. Switch to Serik, and we go where? Farm? No, generator. And this guy plants my city. Alright, you can plant the city in here. Fine. Since we're gonna get forward bark anyway. Question is, can the explorer take this city? I hope it can. And it works similar, and there's no damage in here, so boom, Fort Barca done. And I can plant my last city. There we go. Excellent, and that gives you to Konechno. Okay, next turn. Hello, Battlesuits. And move forward, please. More. Finally fix my gold. Now it's really time to fix my happiness. Though I've got those oil wells up, so eventually it shouldn't be a problem. I mean, like, eventually, of course it's going to be a problem at some point, but eventually we're gonna fix those stuff quite nicely. As soon as I get gold, it should work fine. There we go, couple of gunners. Oh, worm. Okay, expedition complete. 44 culture, nice, not like I care about it that much. There's miasma, yes there is miasma, and there's no miasma in here. 2 turns for a Battlesuit, so that will bring me to like 4 turns less most probably. Especially that my troops are out of position because of those darn stations. It's not a big issue really. Heal up. You gotta heal up. You can move forward and you can move forward. Thank you very much. You can heal up. We've got 1 extra unit in here. Are you healing? Yeah, heal. Z. Hello, gunners. A little bit more units in here, not really a big issue. Shoot. Get some gunners in here. And get some gunners in here too. Next production. Do I have trade routes in here? No. So that calls, of course, for 2 trade convoys. Go. Fortify. Get in here. We're done. There's a little bit of miasma in here. Something I don't really care about as well. Battlesuits are almost in the position. Gunners are almost in the position. So now it's time to start our attack. Yes, declare war. Of course, declare war. You step in here. You step in here, actually start attacking. There's no reason not to attack. We're gonna move 2 units in here. That will allow me to shoot a tiny little bit. Choose production. Of course, next stop is another Battlesuit. And hopefully in next turn, well, there's actually more Battlesuits on the way. We can theoretically start on, well, let's get more Battlesuits. Let's finish up our titanium before I will start making some other improvements to my empire. This guy is obviously not working the correct tiles. Well, not a big deal. And not a big deal. Let's go. Science is tremendously crappy, of course. Nothing I can do to stop that one from happening. No. I want to pillage first. There we go. I want to have a boost. I want to shoot some people. There's forest grassland. I can already shoot. I can attack this city as well. Well, let's attack this one. And in next turn, so 5 turns later, I got my first capital. I have a hefty stream of units incoming, so I can theoretically push forward with the attack on turn 64 quite nicely. another problem. The only problem I've got is of course a little bit of science, but that doesn't matter because I've got my 5 cities set up already, and it will allow me to basically boost stuff quite quickly. So 5 turns later, but the outcome, I believe, is much better because I've got my 5 cities up and running still. I've got theoretically more troops, well, not more infrastructure because I skipped a lot of buildings. I could have built buildings, so it's not really like you don't really have to rush from this tactic, but still, turn 65 and first capital is dead. That's the power of the Slavic Federation, and it's not really like map dependent. You can do it without any pots, without any ruins, without any of that stuff. This is how Slavic Federation works, and why it shouldn't be picked in multiplayer, because I haven't figured out. I will try to figure out a way to defend against this, but I haven't figured this out yet. But we shall see. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this part of the strategy. Well, it's more like of a cheesy way, but as I said, this is the thing that's just super OP, and no other civilization can compete with this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 virtues, so this guy alone cannot compete with this. It's turn 65, I've got my 4 purity, no problem. Others are like crawling. This is Gemini though, so this is like a very poor AI trend, but still. You cannot compete with Slavic Federation in any way, shape or form. Unless you're gonna kill them early on with a rush, which is quite tremendously bad because it's quite hard to kill people with an early strategy rush. Unless you're like gonna go all in. But then you're gonna put yourself in a very bad position because you can't go really anywhere else from this. Slavic Federation can go anywhere else. Now, when this army is rolling on and it's gonna take everything that it can, so like maybe another player, I don't say like whole map, but at least another player it could easily take on, while in the meantime it can build up. It's got institutes, biowells, so that's tremendously good, and all the rest of the buildings, so they should be able to catch up later on, especially they took out the nearest target, the second capital, so 6 cities. You can even plant 1 more city and you're on 7 cities. That's enough probably for the late game if you're not going to fight anybody head on. So one more time, thank you very much for watching and best wishes. Yoruus out.